Good evening. Welcome to Risk Neutral Trading. This is the my virtual trading journal. The idea here is that everything I capture on the videos are my two primary monitors are on the video, and then my voiceover provides insight as to what I was thinking at the moment. Now we've just opened 1700. We just or 1900. We just opened the Asia session, so we're going to be working on the Asia ORB. So let's see what else we can get going here. Here we are. So now everything that you see here on either Bookmap or IRT is live real time. It's being pushed by, they're both running on the same rhythmic data feed. Any trades that I take on Bookmap are live, real data, not replay or playback or recordings. Obviously, if you look at this stream some other day than today, the 8th of July, 2026, it will be a recording, but it's a live stream recording, and all trades are live, real time, and in the real market. So there you go. That's that is the Bookmap side of life, and I have to say that the intention here is not for trade or financial advice, because I'm not licensed to do that. But what kind of a trade journal would it be if I didn't trade live, if my own trades weren't recorded? So I guess you can understand what this is about. Okay, all times that I refer to or that are visible are Central Standard Time. And it looks like everything is just off and running. Okie dokie. I'm going to put Blue Boy here. First, I always put, where did it go? I always put this indicator, which is just a vertical line, on the first print of every session. That's Blue Boy, and that will remain there forever. And I'll now put a temporary one over here for our 1900 Asia Open. Right there. So if you look at this right now, you'll be able to tell immediately that we've put in so far the high first. So the opening range high is the first level to be put in place so far. And that will undoubtedly change multiple times. Good, no problems. Let me get the, now what I'm going to do over here for my RT side is I'm going to push these session high, low, and session percentage levels to Bookmap for this current session. And that's going to be right here. Now these high and low and these levels, which have just now moved up to bracket this, are going to push automatically over here to Bookmap, and in a minute you'll see them right there. There they are. So there we go. There's the low, there's the high, there's the IB high from earlier today, and there's the percentage levels. Obviously they will, as the brackets move out, these compute continuously for the first 1 hour. Well, let's see. What else do we have going on here? I guess I should take this moment to explain IRT, which is my charting package. These are Renkos. This is the micro charts, micro ES and Q. The mini market profile in the full session. And then this is the micro composite full session. Now I'm really torn between, typically the way this works is, first of all, in the header of all of these charts, these IRT charts, you can see the instrument, the chart type, the periodicity, and the session. The way I do this is on the micro composite, wherever price overlaps, I pull a volume profile around that, and that gives me the micro composite VPOC and the high and low volume nodes, which are represented by these red and green lines. And the values for those red and green lines push to bookmap. But here's my problem today. Yes, today overlapped yesterday by about 4 points. And that's, to me, that is, that's a stretch. Whether that should be included or not. I did include them when I rolled over during the off period so far, but I'm going to give that some thought while we go along. And this is the mini. Same layout, but the minis. Now, in IRT, this is where I do my homework, back testing, forward testing, system development, etc. Here is an initial balance system, the first one I did, based on these fixed levels. The charts here are only for visual representation of what the computer is doing over here in the system. There's a little button here that says send a chart. It's real handy. Pushes that over here, and then there's an indicator that it uses to plot the entry and whether it's in or out of profit and whatever else. But this chart has nothing to do with the system, other than I can visualize stuff is going to, happening when and where I think it should. Having said that, then, anything that's taken by the computer and plotted over here on either this or the other ones is in the IRT simulated environment, because this is, this is homework and testing and development. This is not real-time stuff, trading. So that's a simulated environment. Similar with this, same thing right there. And here we are, okay? So now that that's out of the way and everybody understands, I hope. Let's get back to the, what's the volume? What do you suppose the volume is? 65%. Okay. Now, bookmap, on the other hand, is right here. The columns from right to left are the micro composite, where I enter manually the various micro composite levels, high, low, micro composite VPOC, that kind of thing. And I'm going to put the naked volume pointer control from today right here. You can see how that works. And the way I do these is when they're active, their text is this bright color, different colors. And when they're not active, the text is black on any of the things that are in this column. This is the full session volume profile here, which started plotting just now. And these are the high and low volume nodes in this column. This is the delta and the RTH volume profile. This is my statistics column, which I do every morning during the pre-market between 8 and 8:30. Identify the statistical open type, identify the statistics and their, for their associated price levels, and put all that in. And then these are the session prices. And here are the most important columns from a dome. I don't have a dome open here anymore because I don't trade with it, but these are all of level 2, full level 2 liquidity, ask and bid. And the prices. Now you see what they're doing. They tested the low, opened up here, they tested down, and they're trading it up. In other words, they opened here, and they're trading them up. They opened here, tested down, and they're trading them up. See, it's all just a matter of visualization. These are candlestick charts. I used to have bars here somewhere. Where'd they go? Over here, I think. What the hell is this? God, I hate that. This thing is so irritating. There's the bars, which I prefer actually. And then here we are back at that. So back to Bookmap. It's important to know there's no indicator on my Bookmap or my IRT. I believe in volume. And keep it simple, right? Volume, statistics or probabilities, price, and that's it. Over here are POCs, which are just the price at which the most contracts have traded so far in the session. So far, there's 1,097 contracts have traded here at 55.22. The minute one of these prices trades 1,098, this line's going to move there. That's simple, really simple. And these are the, and I've already explained these orb high, orb low, and the zones. This is VWAP. Yeah, there we go. Simple. Simple. And this is all data-based trading. And I need to get that set up. So one of the things that I'm trying to do now, which hopefully will pan out, this takes me a long time to do this. After it's done and it's done right, it works phenomenally. Back test, set up your back test, do whatever you're going to do, get all the reports you want done. You can do the standard deviation, you can do this Sharpe ratio, everything. But this takes me a long time. And my mission here is to have a consistently profitable trading business, not become a code wizard. So I'm leaning on a different system now to try to do this more expeditiously. And I'm using the Edgeful data analysis tool. Well, I don't know what's going on here, but okay. I don't know what's up with that, but let's see if we can get logged in, and there we go. So this is the Edgeful data tool, and part and parcel with this comes a whole bunch of indicators that they created for TradingView, which I had never really used and which is really slick. I really like it for zooming around and looking at stuff. I don't know how it would work, for the things I do with IRT that are specific to there, but for for seeing stuff and visualizing and scrolling back and forth and whatever else, it's great. It's great. And here is the, we want to have the dashboard up here in the upper right corner for this one, for this particular session. So there it is. And this is the session right here that's now plotting. And I want that up here. And this was the same. This is the Asia session here from yesterday. I've also created managed to build a trading, I don't know what you call them, something in this Pine script thing here. It's a trading system. And let's see here. I think I can do it right here. Let's see. Yeah. There's where it's taken some trades, and here are the trades it took last night, and then this happened, and that one didn't work out very good. So we'll see if it takes some trades over here. This is coded exactly like I have my in IRT. So there's that. So right now we're forming the initial balance, and I have the orbs here are set at the exact same time as that initial balance for the RTH session is 1 hour. So that should be pretty much up to speed now, I think. And we need to set this up. So we'll set this up for Chicago Globex. We're going to need to do some, oh, look at this. Oh, this is the gap fill. Never mind. We don't want to do the gap fill here. We want to do the initial balance. So here's the basic initial balance one, and it's the MES. It's 6 months. There should be no custom stuff going on here. 1 hour is the opening range. That's correct. 5-minute chart. Okie dokie. So without sorting by day, there's a 68% probability we're going to single break, we're going to double break, and a 29% and a 29% we will not break either orb high or orb low. But let's zoom right on to the weekday story over here. Oh, wait, wrong session. I'm still back on this Globex. Excuse me. I want this one right here. There we go. Now this does something that is really crazy. This will be Thursday's trade. I want you to watch this carefully. This is 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. UTC 4. UTC -5 right here. Okay, that's Central Standard Time. Now I'm going to switch this to Asia Globex, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. UTC +9. It's the exact same time, just the origin is the Asia, from Asia time zone or from Central Standard. Watch these values and tell me what you see. Completely different, huh? I don't get it. I have no explanation for that, and I am sending a detailed question with pictures to screen snaps to Edgefield, because the only thing that is different between over here UTC -4 or 5 and the Asia time zone is that there is no daylight savings forward or back. So that could have some effect on it. But we're not in daylight savings time now. We're off daylight savings, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Maybe that's the problem. Anyway, we're going to stick with what we've got here for now. So this is the difference in what the days make. Look at that. So this is the difference in 6 months and MES, and there we go. Now, the next thing we need to look at, so it's at 84% we're going to single break them. Let's look at the rejection, which is based on the first level formed. Right now, the first level formed is the low. Right here, huh? Because we've pushed up, up, up. This was formed before this. If you don't believe me, there's the low, and here we are. That was formed first. Now, after the session, after the orb forms or is completed, then this will flesh out and say that, which one formed first and all these things. But that's an important fact, which of the session levels or the orb levels formed first, to do with the data. So I also want to make sure our ending zone is all days, and we're on the wrong day over here. We want to be on the correct day, which is Thursday. There we go. Now, on the Thursday for this one, with the orb low formed first, we've got a 66% probability that we're going to break the high. And remember that there was an 80% probability that we would single break, and 16% that the low would be broken first. So we just sit and wait. Now, if we were trading a smaller orb, 30 seconds, for example, or 1 minute or something, we'd be working on trading. But at this moment, we're just watching and letting it form up. Here's the orb low, the orb high, and here are our percentages. Now, if they come down through here and take the low out, all of a sudden those relationships flip 180 out of phase, right? And this will be the first formed. So there's that. And I'm going to need something here. I don't know what. Let's see. I must have forgotten something, but I don't know what. I've talked about the purpose of the stream, the fact that it is not my way or the highway. It's a collaborative effort. I just do this with complete transparency and accountability to, start a conversation to hold myself and the stream accountable. I have a very firm commitment to take no trades on these accounts off of the stream. And that's why that this after, this evening where this Asia or Globex, whatever you want to call it, stream is happening, is because if I see an opportunity, I want to be able to trade it. And I couldn't if I were not live streaming. Also, it's important to, wait a second here. Yeah, it's also important to, I think you'll agree, to be able to trade here. In order to do that, we need to activate the trade control panel. Now it is green still from earlier today, but you need to, what you do is, if it were normal, you would have it like this, and it would be that color, and you would select an account, and then you can close this again. You get the real estate back when you've got all your metrics up here, and cancel and close. And then I need to do a couple things over here, which are make sure it's on the right statistics, and it's not. This is the Lucid group. Multi-brackets is on. Yep. And there's my high volume. Yep. And here's the multi-account trading, and we want to do that to the Lucids. I'll explain why I'm doing Lucids in this exploratory sessions, because I'm developing is this time zone and this session interesting for trading, and then also I'm developing the hedge trade management stuff. So the simplest way that I could completely de-risk, or minimum, de-risk to a minimum, rather than trading my live amp account, is to do these Lucid accounts. And the way, because I can trade the proper size that I would normally want to trade. I can use all the same trade management that I want to trade and usually use, and I can get paid, right? With minimum investment and minimum risk. So it's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned, unless I'm missing something. And then if I am, somebody tell me, but I don't think so. So here we are, stuck in the middle again, eh? Here's our previous high. Previous lows are way down below someplace down there. And these are RTH, previous RTH high. And here's our orb high and orb low. And here are our percentages. So we wait and see. We haven't even cracked 30 minutes yet. We've got an hour for this orb to be set. So there you go. Let's see here. I don't know what to think about this. I wish somebody was around here. This, typically, I would not include this because it does. I mean, look at in any of these IRT charts, this is a real professional platform, but it's single thread and it's struggling with all this volume. And that's what really irritates me. Like if I want to move back and forth and zoom in and out here, it's a big problem to do that, especially in the daytime when there's a lot of volume, because it's got huge lags compared to, zooming back and forth here and up and down and all around and drawing levels. And it's just amazing, the difference. This is how it should be, but it isn't. Anyway, back to this. If you notice the info box, whichever candle I hover over is the date and then all the metrics about that particular candle or bar, or whatever you call it. So here's our low. Here is 29.5 right there. See the low? I go on yesterday, that's 29.5. When I go to the high of today, it's 36.5. So we got 7 handles overlap here. So by technical definition, it does fit within this micro composite. Probably easier if I, it's probably easier to see the overlap here, and it is. But I was commiserating on that one here earlier when I do that. I changed all this stuff to the RTH or to the ETH session during the crossover, and then these will run in full session until 8:30 in the morning, and I switch them back to the RTH. So here we go. Fire up the green tea thing and fill my glass. Well, they want to put in some highs here. I don't know why, but they seem to be real excited. It's so crazy that the war's, supposedly back on, and the price of oil went through the roof, and all of a sudden, now, let me rephrase that whole soliloquy there. Here's where we're trading. You see the little white nub down here? We're trading right around the highs of today, which has been a sell-off, so long way from the all-time high, etc. But I get all incensed by that whole idea. Look at them go. Well, there's the previous high, or there's the RTH high from earlier today. So there we go. And that's 30 minutes right there. So we're halfway through the orb. And they've pushed it out. What is our orb now? 11 1/4 points. So we've got about 2 3/4 points between the percentages here. Not much meat on the bone. This would not be any kind of an opportunity to trade, in my opinion. And first of all, I don't trade until the orb is set. I don't front run, especially in this Globex. I just, got to do things systematically and methodically. But assuming that the orb is formed and we've taken the high and we're going to pull back, well, it's still only 4 points across here. So that's, got to be, you have to be careful that there's enough risk to reward, or meat on the bone, or whatever you want to call it, to put risk on your account. To justify risk in the account. The reason for these Blue Boy, and you could see it right here is a perfect example. This is always the inside market. This is right here, right now, always. So, if you do this, where'd you go? Come on, there you are. Here's the first print of the ETH session, and here we went. And here is Asia Open. Now, what is context? Is there any question in your mind that the context is up? Higher highs, higher lows? That's really important to be firmly rooted in what the market is actually doing and trying to do, I think. Obviously, I'm not I'd like to lie to you and say I make, I'm a 9-figure trader, and if you just pay a few $1,000s for the private Discord room, you'll learn all about it. But that's that's not how it works. That's not the way it works over here. I do have a Discord room for this channel, but only because every now and then we have a little get together there, and if somebody wants to talk about something, so we do. But it's typically always live stream. And live trades and all that stuff I said a minute ago, and that's a commitment. Sorry, I hit the mouse or the mic boom with my glass. Well, what have we got going on now? 25 minutes to the top of the hour. Let's see what we have here. We can confirm that. Yeah. Now the system will not take any trades as it did here. It won't take anything because it waits for the orb to be set. It doesn't front run or know any of that stuff. If I want to change the orb to 1 minute, it would be looking at that point. But it's based on percentages, so it's based on these levels. So, I would have to rethink that. I'd have to rethink those percentages because obviously in the first 1 minute, there's nothing there. Now, typically what most people do with an orb trade when they're doing short time frames like that, and I will show you right here. So this is the edgeful, based on the edgeful percentage data, okay? So there's that. Now we have the fence trade. Oh, this is only going to be the shit. This will only be the it's only the RTH session. Sorry, never mind. But anyway, what the way the fence trade works is price breaks out of the orb of the opening range. And that breakout is defined as opens inside, closes outside. And then the fence trade, rather than pulling back to a percentage like on my orb stuff here, like on this opening range stuff, rather than pulling back here to one, like this one would do, we've had a breakout, and then price opens outside, wicks into the range, closes back out of the range. So that's a breakout rather than pull back down to one of these levels. So, and then there's various other ones, some people just, when price opens, they'll have a 1 minute bars or something, and they'll put when there's a 1 minute high, a 1 minute low, they'll put a long above and a short below, and whichever one gets hit, they're in the trade. Yahoo buckaroo, let's go. So there's a lot of different ways to skin these cats, and there's a lot of different people talking about orbs all over YouTube, and be really careful. Do the homework and verify for yourself that the results are as they advertise them to be. That's exactly what I'm doing here. This one guy with this fence trade thing, which is just an opening breakout and a test, I thought, well, he sounds like he's kind of got something going there. Maybe it's real, It doesn't test out properly. And I can change all that stuff around here to actually back test them. So that's what I do. And this is homework that we're doing right now. You're helping with my homework. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Okay. Okay. So we have nothing to do over here yet. We're waiting for the orb to form. To stay. Right now we know where we are with the orb low formed first, so that's over here. And once the opening range or initial balance, whatever you're going to call it, has been formed, once the first 1 hour is done, then we can set this ending zone data, and that has an effect, sometimes big effect on these, and then we can look at the pullbacks or the retrace. So let's pretend that we've already done that and the orb is in place, and 66% probability that we're going to take the high. Okay. Now, the next step we do is we move down here to the retracement, and this says that if the high was taken first, right here. Now I got to change these customs around a little bit because this is from today. Sorry. There we go. Thursday. And I can change these percentages of the zones and stuff. So here is Thursday. All the zones. And let's say that the high was taken first. Well, there's a 46% probability that after that high is broken out, that we will retrace to the 25% level. Only 15% will come back to the 50, meaning that assuming this was the 1 hour had already passed and we break out up here, there's a 47 and 46% probability that we'll pull back to this 25 level, and only 15 that will come back to here. So now is when it's really important to think about the meat on the bone, because this is only 34 to 36. Well, wait a minute. 36.75. So essentially, it's only 2 3/4 points. That's not enough meat on the bone to put risk of 2 contracts and 24 ticks, is it? It's not even, this is only 12 ticks. I'm sorry, this is only 8 ticks. And we're risking 24. Do we change the bracket? Do we hope that they keep pushing this out and expand the opening range? Yeah, because there's not very much probability that if we take the opening range high, that we're going to pull back to even the 50% zone, which would only be 4 handles. Well, 5, basically 31 and 36. Okay, call me a liar. This is 5 handles. Times 4, that's 20. That's almost the risk. So that would be, if we could get it to the 50-50, that would basically be a 1-to-1 risk to reward. But other than that, it's probably not worth the trade. Or size down. Risk is the thing that's the most important. In today's age, in today's environment, your fundamental mission as a trader is to preserve your account. And the basic way that you preserve your account is risk management. So you better be focused on it and good at it. There's a lot of traders out there, I've never back tested them, done the data myself, or watched them trade live, but they swear they can enter any place. They don't worry about entries at all. They just enter and then they manage the trade. And the trade management and risk management is how they profit. That's one of the reasons why I am pretty keen about this. And it is not any political statement, but it is really important that we know what risk we have. And anytime Trump is going to say something or whatever, that can be a huge risk to our auction. So why I try to keep this up, because they do pull those random non-typical economic events into their calendar at Financial Juice. Investing.com does not. While we're over here, let's look at tomorrow. That FOMC minutes were released at 1 o'clock today, and I don't even know what the hell happened. I was busy upside down and backwards with Tam. Initial jobless claims tomorrow at 7:30. That's going to be a biggie. And existing home sales, another biggie at 9 o'clock. This is investing.com. Traditional economic numbers. You can filter for whatever you want. It's free. Earnings season is going to be starting up here pretty quick. We've already rolled into a new quarter, I suppose, next week. So we'll be checking that out. Financial Juice, also free. Also filter for wherever you are, like you can over here. You can filter if you're in Kuala Lumpur and you only want to look up the Nikkei. Well, there you go. You can filter right out. But it's really important. I think it's really important to keep your finger on the pulse, because it's so easy and so quick for some goofy thing to be said. And it's got a huge impact on what we're doing. Well, 15 minutes and we're not doing much here. This is a little disappointing. But it's what it is. It was 11 points still. Now we're about 3 handles. And we're about 3 handles each zone. So we'd be looking at about 6 now. If we get back to the 50. 6 fours is 24. That's exactly 1-to-1 risk reward. If we put a trade on right here, the first take profit would be right there, and the second one above it, and the stop would be at the low, at 1-to-1, because we've set up the micro bracket or multi brackets wherever that went. We've set the multi brackets up right here. 2 contracts, 24 tick stop. The risk neutral scale is half the package for the same number of ticks positively as the stop is negative. When this profit target is hit, the worse you're risk neutral at that point, the worst you can do in the trade is scratch, and then this runner. That's why I call it risk neutral. Not sure that it's, and we're also working on the hedge trade management, which means you have a fixed loss, fixed risk once the hedge is on, and the market can go to the moon and down to the floor. It doesn't matter. But the problem with the minis and the micros is the only way you can do that is you end up having 10 micros instead of 2. Because the ratio from mini to micro is 1-to-10. So if you're hedging with the 1 mini, you have to have 10 micros on the opposite direction in order to have a hedge. That's how it works. And it works fine, except if you screw up which taking off the legs wrong. Unwinding the hedge ended up putting a lot of risk on for me that I didn't like. Nothing to do with the data. Burp. Nothing to do with IRT. Except stand here. And there's not, I don't guess I need to tell you that this is the Asia session, which is not, can be dramatic, and it can just be slower than the second coming of Christ, That's better seen over here. Where do you go? Over here. Here we are. There's yesterday. Thank you, Mr. Trump. The Trump dump right there. That's exactly what that is. So it can be, and that's 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, I'm not standing here doing that. I was here when this happened, when it went on at 20:30, and I certainly wasn't over here when it stopped at midnight 30. So that's this trade is work. I mean, this thing that I coded up is working pretty well. But here's more of a normal. Here's more normal session. Here's one that made good money, short and down to here. That same thing. And this is the target. And there's a red stop around up here somewhere, and there's also a yellow entry thing, but they're covered up by these these colored lines. I've also got to change that code and have these stop at the zone, at the session, instead of rambling on over here. Ramble on. Now this one will start rambling on over here. Oh, well, we Oh, no. Yeah, I was going to say, oh, Christ, we took a trade. No, we didn't. Yeah, never mind. I got to do that. That's annoying. These lines up here, they're supposed to quit. Well, are they going to come up and punch the new high and get a little more oomph up there? I don't know. Doesn't look like it. There's kind of an oomphless looking session here we're having. Trading straight up from the Globex. So look at that. Spooky, because a lot of times they do this. I will take the trade if it, if all the signals are correct. Last night I did not, on purpose, manually. The session, the system took this trade, but I did not intentionally, and I discussed it on the session because on the stream, because I didn't feel. I just had a feeling it wasn't any good, and I realized that's not scientific or any kind of a trading thing, But what I knew more than anything was I was not going to stay up and manage the damn thing. Now, this wouldn't have been a profit. This would not have been an exit. So it would have just come almost up there and then stop, and then the Trump dump. You see, a lot of times we do the opposite of the Globex. Boom, 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 down we go. Boom, 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 down we go. Up we go. Oh, who the hell knows? I don't think, I don't know how to make some generalization that I'm going to know which way to go. And that's the reason that I base my trading on statistics and probabilities, not, gunslinging or video gaming or discretion, pretty much. So we're getting ready to close the orb here, but I'll have a couple of minutes to talk about this. The way I approach trading is the same way that Jim Simons did with Renaissance Technologies and Thorpe and whatever his name is, I always forget, and Paul Tudor Jones, Mark Douglas, Tom the Trader, anybody that's a successful, really successful, trading live, serious money. They all have the same, Tom Sosnoff, it all boils down to the same thing. Trade probabilities. Find a setup that has a probability. Trade the probability. Trade often and trade small. And mind your risk. So what I do is I've identified patterns. In my case, the initial balance high or low are now the orbs. I have done the homework, as you see, as I've, shown before over here. What do we got going on here? I don't want to do that. I closed the wrong thing. Sorry about that. I'll open it back up real quick like a bunny here. Trading strategy. There we go. Boom. All the strategies are different. This is why it takes me so freaking long. I'm a donut. I'm not a code guy, right? Wish I was. Like, part-time Larry or somebody that he's got a 20 or 30 minute video, and while he's talking and laughing, he codes up some kind of phenomenal trading algorithm. Yeah, it's irritating. Not irritating. I'm just admiring. Took me a long time to develop this, right? But it works like $1 million. It can back test. This only trades the RTH session, so it won't be anything tonight, but I can back test it. And I can forward test it, and then after it's been back tested, which is I'll show you. Why not, huh? Okay, let's back test 100 days. Ready? There you go. That's how long it took. It took 3 seconds for this computer to back test 100 days, which was 46,350 bars. There's the net profit. There's the number of trades. There's the MFE, MAE. Over here are the real stats that I look at pretty closely. There's the winners, average winner, max winner, average winner, stops, max stop, average stop, win rate, 3.9 to 1, so it's about our value of 3. 65% profitable win rate. There are 17 consecutive winners in a row and 5 consecutive losers. Pretty good. It's coming back. This was making money really well until mid-January, into December, January, and then the consecutive stops just zoomed up double. Well, I stopped automatically trading it because it was just, it was not sustainable, and something had changed. You never change a system until it exceeds the parameters that you back-tested, which is what I did. So, and if you want to, you can look at every one of those 174 trades right here. There's when it was entered, what the exit was, what the entry was, all the prices, the times, and the outcome. That's a back test. And then, on top of that, while we're doing this, I might as well do it. On top of that, I then bring that data over here. Every one of these lines, each line is a back test. 495 days, 750 trades, so many winners, average winner, stops, average stop, scratch, win rate, loss rate, expectancy, R factor, risk to reward, profit factor, consecutive losers, consecutive winners, MFE, MAE, long, short, commissions, net, Saltino, sharp, all of that. So this is really doing the homework. And once you've done that, you can lean on these things as I was doing. And now I've moved over to where am I next? Now I've moved over to this edgeful thing because I'm trying to, my problem is that I have only these initial balance trades vetted. Well, I need, you don't go hunting with one bullet. So if I'm going to have a sustainable, consistently profitable trading business, I need to have options for trading. And that's the point of doing this and why I'm trying to lean on Edgeful, because that gives me more the ability to check, to do more data. There's the ORB, there's gap high, gap low, and then I can do some of this other stuff. I'm hoping, this is just, I'm just trying to do what I think is best and will work. That is rational and systematic and with methodology and rules, because I believe that's correct. Based on what the most successful traders in the world have discovered for themselves and what they say. So there you go. Now we got a minute left. We haven't taken the orb high out yet. We've traded down past the 50 to the 75. We're back up here around the 50 again. So that means that when the orb sets, wherever the closing price is, let me explain how that closing zone thing works. It's best described, I think, easiest here. This will be the ending candle. It's the closing price of the last candle within the opening range or the initial balance period. So first 1 hour. Now the next candle will open in here, but it'll close outside of it. So whichever zone this closing price is in is how those are assigned. And the way you do it is opposite. There you go. So now the high was put in, or the low was put in first, and there's the closing zone. So it's 0 to 25, 25 to 50, 50 to 75, 75 to 100. That was the level put in first. So it's 25 to 50. So now we can break back over here. Well, it scared me there for a minute. We can break back over here, and we can put our ending zone in. And whoa, wait a minute here. Wrong way, Corrigan. We got to get up to the rejection. Here we go. Now watch the impact that this can have on this. So we've got 60%, right? 66%. Let's see what happens here. 80% and 20%, we're going to take the low. You see that, the difference? Because of where it closed? Now is when the temptation to front run really comes to play. And depending on which we take, then I'll be looking at these retrace levels. But the temptation to front run becomes really good, because right now, here's the 50, and we've got 6 handles across here, and there's an 80% probability we're going to single break the high. Well, too late now. I'm busy talking, but I think I was not showing that edgeful either, damn it. I don't think I was showing you this when I put in the ending zone right here. And then that changed from 60 to 80%. Low formed first. And then we'll do the breakout, whichever one, if it breaks, and the retest. But at this point, it's real tempting to take a front run, right? And there's the end of the first 1 hour. So I can get rid of it or just move it, I guess. So there's the end of the orb. If you're a betting man or a gal, betting trader, you could say, well, there's an 80% chance, according to that data, that we're going to go up here and smack this out. Then I'm going to lean on that. Well, then there you go. There's also a 20% probability we're going to come right down here. What has the price been doing? Lower highs or lows? Now this, I'm not sure that there's, the follow through. I'm having to get my head around the follow through and everything to do with this these sessions. That's why I say that I think it's better to wait for the statistic and trade by the numbers. In other words, front running for this high, you got nothing that says that. It says there's an 80% probability you're going to go up here. But if you go up here and it starts coming this way down to here, that's a percentage and a hard number. Now, it doesn't say you're going to go back again, or that you're going to, it does bracket out going lower, but yeah, it's a hard call. Nothing, there's nothing there. You're not gonna. I don't think you're gonna ever find, or if you do, please call me. A system or some data or something that says this works 100%. Even last night, the zone was 100%. It was 100% that we would. I think it was last night that we would take this certain, whichever level, I think the high. I'm not sure that it did, actually. And now we're going to go down here and looks like we're looking at the lows. And of course, there's the ever-present geopolitical. I don't know where Einstein is. Is Trump still in Turkey? I think he is still. They sell him a bunch of jets, and Netanyahu's crapping himself, and Yeah, it's yeah, a lot of pretty crazy stuff going on. Well, I certainly like this abbreviated. I was doing this stream from 1700 through, and that was just, you know, only an hour break or an hour and a half break from 7 hours on the stream in the day with the RTH. Ridiculous. What is? I don't know. Okay, so here's Trading View. No trades by the system. Let's wind this out a little bit. We have 11 and a quarter points wide, so a little less than 3 points per zone. The low was formed first. Yep. Do you see this IB size up here where it's got this percentage? I think that's of ATR, but I have to find that out for sure. That's one of the filters that you can use in the data. Let's see about that. What was it? Let's first of all, I think it was 1 point something. 149. Okay. Let me see. IB any size. I think that's where it is. Let's look. Custom. IB any size. Well, greater than 9%. I guess that would be less than 2, right? Let's see what that does. It brought this down from 80 to 75. And it raised this up to from 19 to 25. If it's 0.149, that means it's not 2 yet. And I'm pretty sure that's got to be it's got to be an ATR. I mean, or they've done something magical about capturing the IBs for all of the Asian sessions. That'd be pretty amazing. So what are we doing? Well, lower highs, lower lows, fluffed around down here. Now we're trading it back up towards the high again, which is the expected breakup. I would just think that I must say this, that I know this is not scientific or methodical, but I'm a little, well, look at today. First of all, this is today. This is today's IB. Boom, and all the way across and took the IB high twice. After the big dump, reset back up. So I guess it's conceivable they could take it up. I was going to say it looked to me like that was trading down, but we can see. They're going to go up here and take it. Now, and when they get up and take that, then all the people that thought front running was a great idea can go, and that's true. That would be true, but that's not based on data, I don't think. There's another way to look at this data too that I've been remiss about during the day, during the RTH session for sure. Okay, what does it say over here? It says that there's 75% we're going to break that high. Let's assume that that's what happens. And let's mosey down here to the retracements. And we're going to break the IB high out. So that means there's a 46% probability that we're going to get to the 25 level. 15% we're going to get down to the 50 level. 48% we're going to, if we break out, 48% we're going to get to here. Only 15% more probability we're going to get down to the 50. So the other way to look at that statistic is, rather than wait to pull down here and go long for another breakout, is to mean revert. Short right here, asymmetric trade, stop can be right above it, and lean on that 48% that we're going to get to here, and hopefully it goes lower. But this is only 3 points, so that's not enough meat on the bone for that trade, in my opinion. And, you know, we haven't done any of it yet anyhow, so what the hell. I don't know if I was putting this in the recording, but this is what I was talking about here. I think I had it right, I hope. Looking at it from the other side, in other words. There's also another thing here, another report that I think picks up all the same filtering, and that's levels. And this happened to me last night a bunch of times. That sucks. That sucks, the big one. It's got to be with that, have to do with the session. Let's get back to where we were with retracements here. I wonder if it forgot everything. Let's see, where are we? Yeah, it did. Son of a bitch. Gosh. That's disappointing. Let's get back. Wait a minute. Yeah, it changed the time zone too. God darn it. That is real disappointing. Wait, I don't want that one. I want the Asia one. I want Asia. Ooh, there we go. God, that's disappointing. Not my fault, but, you know, still. So let's just continue. And did it forget everything? No, there's our percentage. There's our ending zone. Okay, that part's good. Okie dokie. Let's go down to the retracements over here and see if they're all upside down. Oh, we can change the IB size over here too. I didn't know that. I've never messed with that before, to be honest with you. Where's the IB size? Any size. Here we go. What the hell is this? Changes the size of the initial balance. Okay, I think it's that. Let's see what that does. I never did that one before. Well, so now there's a 50% chance we're going to break up and 17% chance we're going to go that way. So there you are. A new filter. A new improved deal. And we haven't gotten up to take out the IB high yet, or the ORB high yet. And so here I stand, heart in hand. I went to get tea and was busy getting orders from the boss there. I forgot all about it. Okay. Now, you know, a lot of times it's pretty rotational. That's what we got going on now. Pretty rotational. Okay, there we go. So they took the IB high. Now the idea is to pull back and then the trade. That's if we're going to do it by the book. So there's the high. Yes, it was taken. There we go. So that's it. Played out. Now the system can start thinking about a trade, and if we pull back to the 25, it will do so. I need to be thinking about that also, actually. My guess is 25 and maybe down into here, and we'll go long. And I hope I'm not regretful that it would have been a mean reversion. But we'll see. We haven't gotten there yet. And what does the data say? Retracement says the high was broken 50% to the 25 and another 17 we get down here somewhere. So there's 50%. We're going to the 25, and there we go. And the system should have taken a trade on the on thing up there. I think I'll put a trade in at about put an order in here at 32.75. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I missed the window, huh? No, certainly did not. We'll put one there at 33 and see if it gets hit. I bet you the system took a trade. Yep, right there. What? Wait a minute. Did it? No. Why not? So that's 33 to 36. That's only 3 points. That's just pretty dismal. And I'm not getting taken into the trade anyway, so I missed that window apparently. I'm a little puzzled as to why I want to take those damn trade markers off of there. This thing doesn't like that. All right, there's the trade.
Order submitted.
What the hell happened? Where's all my brackets?
Order
Oh,
submitted.
there we go.
Order submitted.
Stop.
Submitted.
And T1 and T2's up above it.
Order submitted.
Let's see what happens now. Amazing. I'm amazed that I'm in a trade in this. Ah, there we go. Yeah, they got in there now. All right. I was going to say, I'm amazed I'm in that trade and the system is not, but it is. There we go. All right. So now what do we do? I think I'm going to, if you notice here on IRT, the trades are plotted. And I'm going to maybe do something about that here. It doesn't like that during the day. These screw it up. This is all within IRT. I mean, these are trades that are in, because this is driven by the same rhythmic data. And there's the 50. So you see, I could have waited till we got back to the 50 and then I'd have been that much ahead of the game. Bummer. So there we go. Now there's nothing to do but watch. Watch and wait. Because the trade management's in place. There's stops and targets. I could do things like bring this T1 down here, but this is a 1-to-1. And then I think that the likelihood of T2 being hit is probably pretty slim. Probably need to bring that down. Probably need to bring this down a bit. I can't imagine that thing's going to go ripping up that high, but you never know. Where am I? 39.56. Maybe bring it down to 49s.
Order submitted.
Yeah, see that IRT doesn't like that. And all I did was move the stop down to here. But I kind of leave these here to see how they plot and keep an eye on them, even though I know I'm in a trade. But maybe I think it's just extra work for the system, and IRT struggling so bad, I may take that off or just turn it off. And this is important because this is now just 1 point high, which is how I typically keep it. So we'll see what happens. Nothing to do now but wait and watch. All right, well, I'm going to go make dinner for Tam and I. Mom's got it all cooked, but she's tired and salting off to bed. So I'm going to be I'll just drop in and out and keep an eye on what this thing does. I may take it all off if it gets up there to number 1 too. I mean, take it all off. It's 1, right? This is deceptive because it's copying all 5 of those. This is the 1 lot. Well, they're bombing along. I'll be try to come in and out here in the middle of dinner to. If they get up there and take that one out and then move above it at all, I'll probably scroll up to it or trail up to it. You know, if we get any headway above there, just to lock that in and even out the stop from yesterday. And who knows whether we will or not. But I'm not going to go down the route of trailing to break even now, because that's I think that's a little paranoid. So anyway, I'll be back in a bit. I'll be in and out. Well, there you have it. Tag me out. To the tick. That's disappointing. But that's what it is, I guess. Very disappointing. That's going to be really annoying if that goes away from that stop to the tick and then takes off up to the targets. That's going to be pretty annoying. To put it mildly. Oh man, that is truly disgusting. It is truly disgusting. Man, talk about poor trade placement. To the tick, and away they go the other way. Unbelievable. Well, I don't know what to say about that. That's pretty damn disappointing there. Talk about to the tick. Jesus. And yeah, I could have put my order at the 50, I guess, and put my stop at the bottom. And yeah, it would have been different, but it is what it is, I guess. It's pretty disappointing, I'll tell you. Pretty damn demoralizing. And I'm going to call this one. So have yourself a great evening. Better than mine, I hope. And I am going to call this one. And I got to get set up for the morning stream. Same exact issue with the algo here. Jesus Christopher Christ. And then on to higher ground, undoubtedly. Really don't know what to say about that. I don't. Other than wait for the 50, always put your stop at the other side of the orb, or I don't know. Pretty darn disappointing, though, I can tell you that right now. So I'm gonna cut her loose here. Have a great night, and remember, tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. Pre-market, and then see where we go. Thanks a lot. Have a great evening.